What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Dreamer from GotBetterBeats.com, and actually coming to you guys with a podcast. So I think it might have been I think it was last week. I did a video story on Facebook and Instagram talking about the subject of free beats. So before you get offended, I actually wanted to elaborate more on that. One of the main things that I said was free beats, they hold no value. And the reason why I said that is because, of course, a beat is going to really be a beat because, Swiss Beats can give you a free beat and you're like, oh man, it's a Swiss Beats beat. But if you gave that beat to 1 million people, how much value do you think it's going to hold? So we're going to talk more about that. But maybe I should tell you a little bit about myself for the people who don't know who I am. So I've been engineering and producing, I'll just say over 15 years, and started off singing, so kind of stayed in the studio environment. For the most part, I actually love the home studio environment because it's something about having your own space where you can create. That's really how it started for me. I got a chance to go to the big studio, and they kind of felt out of reach at the time because I really didn't know, like, this guy had rack gear everywhere, the big analog consoles, everything. But I got a chance to see another studio that was actually set up in somebody's home, and it seemed more tangible for me. So since then, I've been creating beats for a long time. I've been recording, and it's crazy how much I didn't think that I would love recording as much as I do, because at first I just kind of started, because I sing, so I was thinking like, okay, maybe if I record myself, I can get more done, but didn't intend on falling in love with recording. But back to the subject of free beats. Okay, so right now, if you're an artist, singer, songwriter, poet, anybody who would need music, and you're really serious about your career, that means, to me, I would think that you would want to take it to the next level. As far as you want to be above. For one, when you're in entertainment or even a business aspect, you got to be a step above your competition, no matter whether it's healthy competition or it's just the competition, somebody that's actually coming right at you trying to take your spot. So what I'm saying is, free beats are cool to write to get ideas. I listen to free beats. Yeah, I don't use them. I listen to them on YouTube, and sometimes I kind of get ideas, and sometimes I actually relate more to beats or instrumentals more than I do to the actual songs, because what you hear on the radio is kind of like they don't really play such a variety on the radio stations that I hear now. So in order to build the value that I'm talking about is when you're building value as far as, okay, one thing you can do is for one, when people seeing you working, they are more apt to give you a hand and help you out. Because, for an example, I have an artist that I work with on quite a few songs. He'll actually come to travel to come record. He'll call me and say, hey, I got somebody who might need something mixed. I'm gonna give him your number, or like, can you remake this beat? He's always working. He's always keeping in contact with me. So what I do is, when I do a beat, before I even put it on, if I think it's something that he might like, before I even put it on the internet, I'll email him a sample and say, hey, what you think about that? Because I know he's serious about his craft. So we gotta get to that space where people know that we serious. Because I mean, the free beats are cool, but when are we gonna get serious? And it's not about money, because like I said in that video as well, I've seen I've seen I've seen beats leased for $5. And even some of the top producers have, like, buy one, get four free. So I mean you get 5 beats for like $50. So my thing is, it's not a subject to price, because I know that might be one thing that you're thinking, okay, since you're a producer, you just saying that because nobody wants to buy your beats. No, it's not about that. I'm actually thinking about the artist, because my thing is, if I was if I was really salty about that, I would give people protected beats for them to upload it to YouTube and this and that, so I can have content ID on it, and and actually gain revenue from it. But I'm actually wanting to see people grow into something just a little bit more. So that's one way. When people are seeing you working, like if you're dealing with you know one particular producer, what even if it's online, you know, more than likely he knows who his repeat customers are. And usually, if you're a repeat customer to a producer, when they send out certain emails, you'll probably be in a certain group of people who've made multiple purchases. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, building a team. If you have a team of people, like let's say if there's a producer that you know and that you can actually record with, or you know, or let's just say you and the producer don't have access to a studio. If he has the beats, you have the bars, or you have the vocals. Why don't you guys get together? You know, I mean, in this day and age, I would say contract everything. That way, everybody gets the writer's credit, everybody get the production credits. But build that team. Go in half on the studio time. You know what I'm saying? Grow this thing together. Look at Drake and 40. That's one of the things that put 40 to the spot that he is now, because Drake kept shouting him out on his records, and he kept doing Drake records. So my thing is, there is power in team building. And on top of that, another way, start going to some of these producer networking events. They have these are people, even though you may not be a producer, you have to realize that if you have the chance to put yourself in a room full of producers, why wouldn't you? I mean, you have, let's say it's 100 people. You have 100 people who are looking for artists to rap over their beats or sing over their beats or just to lease beats. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? And I think the main thing is that, and I mean I've dealt with this myself. I think that we get to this thing where we feel like we feel entitled, like especially when we doing good as an artist. We kind of feeling ourselves. We like, man, like what I'm saying, like I shouldn't have to do this, and I shouldn't have to do that. All this stuff gonna come to me. But honestly, I don't want to, knowing what I know now, a lot of times that I did wait for something to happen, I wish that I was out there grinding and creating something bigger, for a bigger return. So don't let yourself get the big head, because what you see, because normally what you see on TV, on the music videos and stuff like that, it's a whole team behind that. It's just the purpose is driven to that one person. Like when you think about, let's say, Jay-Z, you got to think about the team that's around him. We just really don't see the team that well. But Jay-Z more than likely has a manager. He has somebody who's doing the tours. He has somebody, an agent, that's handling this and that. He has people who are actually putting things together at the tour, who is hooking up speakers. More than likely, he has a DJ. And I know we don't think about that, but that's the team. That is an actual team that we have. So we got to start thinking. We got to start thinking as a business, because a lot of times we get to that entitled stage, and we feel like, oh, okay, all I have to do is be dressed fresh and you know and have my song, and somebody gonna sign me. Well, the thing about that, that's all fine and dandy. That's cool. But the way that record companies have been set up for the most part is to see what you can do on your own and how much you can stand out to all the independent artists before they even pick you up. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to put yourself in the best position in order to stand out. And I know you thinking like, oh man, all this over some free beats. Yes, all this over some free beats. And the main reason is I want to see I want to see artists go to another level. And what's going to help them get to another level is actually thinking more business. And I'm not saying that you don't have a business mindset. I mean, it's a lot of people who may be listening to this podcast who may say, I already know all this stuff. But this is what this episode is about. And it's because I run into a lot of people that hit me with that, hey, man, you know, yeah, man, you know what I'll do is, you know, you let me get you let you know what I'm saying, you send me some beats, and you know what I'm saying, I rap over them, and then we both gonna blow up. I mean, I'm not doubting what that person can do, but we gotta think about it. Some people, myself, you know, when I make music, this is how I survive. It's not like I can just do music and just put it in everybody's hands and just hope and pray that they make it to, you know, millions, and that they're gonna come back to me, because there's a lot of faults with that too. I mean, because you can't think so inward, and you can't be so self-centered when you think about yourself. I mean, because let's say if you heard a beat of mine, and you say, hey man, I really like that. I really like that track. I got something to go to it. Instead of saying, let me have it, I mean, think business. One of the things you can say is, hey, you know, what we can do is I want to get that track, and maybe I can, I want to get it exclusive. Maybe I could put something down on it. I'll make sure I put you down on the credits, you know, so that way when things really do pop off, your name is attached to it, and I can make payments on it to make it totally mine, or maybe I can just give you this portion and we can split the royalties. I mean, anything. You can't think so self-centered when it comes to a business transaction. 'Cause a lot of times that's when we try to get that finesse game going. We try to use our status, but a lot of times we don't use our status as, when it comes to real business. Because a lot of times, if somebody said, hey, I want you to open up for Travis Scott, you know what I'm saying, it's only going to cost you $500. A lot of times we're not trying to haggle those guys on the price, because we feel like that holds value. We like, oh, okay, man, I know Travis Scott, going to have 10,000, 20,000 fans out there. I want to get on that stage. So you should have the same energy when it comes to when you hear a beat that you feel like, man, I can make that a hit. Let me go ahead, even if you negotiate the price. I mean, it doesn't matter, because like I said, you can get beats for $5 these days. You know, I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't really listened to a lot of them that are that price range, but what I'm saying is that's one thing you really don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about that beats are so out of reach. even studio time isn't out of reach like that. Now the quality of your studio time, that might vary, and that's one thing that I guess that was always a pet peeve of mine. Even when I was younger, I was, when I first started my studio, like if I would listen to the stuff that I recorded back then, as far as mixing and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't be able to listen to it too long. But honestly, I will say for the longest time, I always focused on trying to have a clean sound. So when I do listen to some of my old stuff, I'm actually shocked on how well the mic and everything was set up, because I had some real clear vocals back then. My mixing skills weren't really up to par, but as far as the equipment, I always had some good stuff. So, okay, let me take a look at my show notes here. My bad, y'all. Okay, so, but like I said, when I said building a team, whether it's you connecting with a producer online or you know collect connecting with a local producer, either he has a studio or even if you and the producer don't have a studio, when you build it the proper value, when you start doing shows, you start getting your name out there, you can contact, I'm pretty sure there will be an engineer that says, hey, hey, I want to link up with y'all too. So you got a producer, you writing all the music, and you got an engineer. And I'm pretty sure there are really good engineers out there on the independent level. I've seen some people do some amazing things with something that you wouldn't even imagine that they can do anything with. So even with just that three component team, you know, beats, song, well, vocals or bars, pretty much rapper, singer, entertainer, whoever, and you have an engineer. So for one, right now you have that team to build a good product. And and between the three of y'all, I'm pretty sure that you guys can start getting shows. And the way that everything is kind of easy now, you can get on DistroKid, you can get on TuneCore, you can add your stuff to iTunes. And between the three of you guys can promote that product on social media. I mean, the power, you got to realize the power is in numbers. And between the three of you guys as well, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to get get a chance to know somebody who may be able to promote your stuff further. One of you guys may know a A&R. Maybe you guys, through networking events, you guys will run into an A&R, and you pretty much a team that you can handle everything on your own. And when labels and people who actually want to put money into projects, they want to see how it can come together. And being that you guys have already come together to create some great music, the chances are higher for somebody to really put their money behind it because they can see they can kind of see how things will work. So, but I think you guys got the gist of, the team building aspect. And like I was saying about pretty much between the three of you guys doing things, creating a system, building a brand. And what I mean by that is what is going to be the name of your I guess what's going to be the name of your rap name? What's going to be the name of the studio, like the production, like, so with those things, you definitely want to start building those brands so people will actually start knowing, like, okay, that's so and so, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing some real good stuff. That way your name will really get to buzzing. And one of the cool things, it was a crazy thing, but it was a cool thing because I didn't notice how much my name was getting around, when I was well, not here in Atlanta, but I used to live in Brunswick, Georgia. So I had a lot of people, I guess I had a lot of more people talking than I thought because I was talking to this guy about recording. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, well, shoot, you rap, you can come on to the studio. And he was like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And like, after thinking about it, I'm going to do work with Better Beats. And I was like, dude, I am Better Beats. And he was like, oh, man, that's crazy. So it was like, it was so crazy because at that time, I built my brand to where people didn't really know my face at that time. They knew the brand. So my thing is, you can definitely get a lot done just by building a brand, having something familiar for people to grasp onto. Whether it's at every show, you need to have you need to have some a T-shirt with what I'm saying with your production name on it. I mean, different things that you can do. I mean, I can't really tell you how to do your brand, but I can tell you to make sure that you build a brand and that everybody on the team is pushing that brand because if they're pushing their brand, you'll realize that you can grow as an independent artist to the point where you won't need a label for one. So, and at that point, with them pushing the music out there, if you guys feel like, oh, we need a way to generate money, if you guys aren't working, traditional jobs or whatever the case may be, you can actually build the recording studio to have where other people can come and do music. I mean, which a lot of people are doing anyway. But just different things, excuse me, or different things will actually generate income. So now you have a studio where people can actually come and pay you money to record their music. You have a producer in house that you can play that can play beats for the artist. So he's selling beats, and at the same time, while the brand is getting built, your project is getting funded. And also, if you guys wanted to start your own label, let's say if you guys really get things together to the point where you have your system in place, if you do run into some other good artists, now you can have a label with a couple more artists on it. And now you're starting to get the attention of this person, that person. Now people are paying you to come out because you built the value. They say, hey, this dude did this on his own. So, he's doing this on his own and he has 50,000 followers on Instagram on his own. This guy set up a website on his own, and they selling merch to the point where I see people walking around my town with his brand on their t-shirts and on their hats. I see. I was listening to the radio station, and he's on the local radio station. So I mean, I know a lot of stuff seems out of reach, but we just really have to kind of we really just have to kind of think about how we want to do things. We got to get out of sometimes we got to get out of that normal mentality of where we come from, and we gotta add just a little bit of business savviness to what we're doing. And I'm not saying change who you are, but what I'm saying is change how you think about who you are. That way you can actually start getting things done. And also, lastly, I'll wrap this up by saying we also want to make sure that we stay educated. And the reason why I say that is because being in this digital world now, you know, it probably wouldn't be as it probably wouldn't be as helpful if I was out here selling CDs right now when everything's digital. Everybody who has a phone either has Spotify, Apple Music, or something like that. So if I'm out here selling CDs and really they're not making cars with CD players anymore, so that kind of tells us that there's a low percentage of people who are listening to CDs. And I'm not saying don't sell CDs because there's some people out there who may love CDs. So if it's a show when you have 5,000 people out there, have everything. You know what I'm saying? You can have CDs, USB drives, or whatever. I just use that as a example, just to let you know you want to stay you want to stay up to date on the type of media and the type of products that you can have to to get your media out there. Like, I know one thing that I was thinking of. I mean, and it's not a new idea, so but the next time I'm actually promoting my next album or single, I want to get the cards with the QR code. That way they can actually scan the QR code and all my music and information will pop up, like all the links, probably like a web page, pretty much like a EPK, web page with where they can listen to your music, they can read about you, different things like that. They can have links to purchase your music, to add it on their Apple Music playlist, different things like that. So, I mean, and I'm pretty sure a couple years down the line, there's going to be something else that'll be helpful for us to promote our music. So the main thing is, I just want you to realize that it started off as with free beats, but it ended up being about really just building value all around. But I guess the subject of free beats comes up so much to where I just want people to know, like, that really holds no value, because if I give you a free beat, just know I'm giving it to everybody else. And it's not saying because that beat was trash, but it's just saying that it was free. So it holds no value. When I make a beat, no matter if I sell it for $30 or $1,000, I want somebody to actually do something with it. Because if I paid $30 for a beat, or if I pay $1,000 for a beat, I still want to make sure I do something with it. If I have a free beat, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't hard for me to get it. So that means that it would easily just be able to sit on my hard drive and just just sit there, because I mean it really holds no value. But honestly, I feel like if I'm, well, for example, production and engineering, the program that I'm recording this podcast on right now, over the years I've paid for upgrades and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure I've paid probably over $1,500 for this particular program by getting updates and upgrading to the pro version, different things like that. So my thing is, to most people, they'll be like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna pay that much for that." But the tools that it gives me has paid that $1,500 so many more times. I have programs that that I've used to create music, like VST plugins, like Omnisphere. Omnisphere costs $500. I bought that, and it's like, I mean, I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna, I wouldn't do that. I just download." But my thing is, I try to make sure that when I'm paying for this stuff, I don't have to, I don't. I make myself use it. I make myself get the worth out of it, because I'm spending my hard-earned money for it. If I get it for free, it's just going to be just whatever to me. So my thing is, that's one way that I make myself build value. And when you think about it, if somebody sends me a song and says, "Hey, you know, can you mix this for me for free?" Do you really think that you gonna get the best mix out of that person? And the main reason I'm saying that is because, think about it. If somebody sends me something and says, "Hey, I want you to mix this for free," even if I want to do it, let's say I don't have a lot of time, I'm gonna just try to give them something quick, you know, and it's gonna be like wham bam, thank you, ma'am. If I have the time to do it, and a lot of times I really don't have the time to do it, because I'm always pushing for my business. I'm always pushing because this is how I feed my family. When I'm in the studio, I'm feeding my family. So we want to make sure that we're actually building value and building valuable relationships with people in the music industry. So don't get labeled as somebody who's just trying to take all the time, because I mean, it's so many people out there that's all they do. They just trying to take, and they feel like, oh, I'm gonna just keep taking till I take my way to the top. And I think that might work for somebody, but I mean it's not likely. So you just gotta, you just gotta think about that free beat mentality. I guess that's what we'll call it. We'll call this free beat mentality, and start building some value. So, but if you're not following me on Instagram, got better beats. Well, I guess it's got underscore better underscore beats. And I really want to build a community. I want to build a community for YouTube as well. So I've got better beats on YouTube as well. So let me know what you think about the podcast, because I'm actually going to be trying to do one of these every week and delivering it to you guys, because I feel like I have so much I have so much information that I wish I knew when I first started. So if this information can help somebody else, I want to be that person to help you guys. So until then, peace, and make sure that you go to gotbetterbeats.com. You can go listen to my beats, and I also have a consultancy option on my page as well, on the services tab. So that way, if you want to link up with me, you actually want to talk about if your music needs mixing, mastering, you just need advice on music, on how what some things that you should do, let me know. But until then, peace out.